Let's say you want to start a business in Georgia. You've got a plan, you've got the skills, but then you hit a wall. Paperwork, fees, and licenses. You need a permit for this, a certification for that, and before you can even start making money, you're spending weeks, sometimes months, just trying to get permission to work. Many people would simply give up. Unfortunately, this problem has been a long time in the making. The fact is that Georgia's regulatory code has been growing every single year since 1965. There are over 1.2 million restrictions affecting businesses and workers across the state. And the worst part? Most of these rules are unnecessary. Let's break this down. For starters, regulations are rules set by the government to control how businesses and individuals operate. The goal is to ensure safety, fairness, and compliance with other laws. We shouldn't eliminate all regulations. Some are necessary to protect consumers and ensure fair competition, but not all regulations are helpful, and many are doing more harm than good. That's because regulations add to the cost of doing business, and it's not a small cost. For example, if you run a small manufacturing company, you pay an average of over $50,000 per employee every year just to comply with government regulations. And here's the wildest part. If the US regulation was its own economy, it would be the 9th largest economy in the world. Georgia isn't immune to this either. Our state's regulatory code has grown by an average of 13% every year for decades. Think about that. Every year, more rules are added, but almost none are removed. That's the thing about regulations. They tend to pile up quickly and remain on the books long after they become unnecessary. So in 2019, Governor Brian Kemp launched the Georgians First Commission. This was a task force to find and cut unnecessary regulations. They found that over 54% of Georgia's regulations were outdated or referenced laws that had already been repealed. That means businesses are being forced to follow rules based on laws that don't even exist anymore. So what's the solution to all this overregulation? Well, other states have already figured this out. They've used 4 key tools to stop unnecessary regulations from piling up. Let's examine these. Number 1, sunset provisions. These make sure that regulations automatically expire after a certain time unless they're proven necessary. Number 2, sunrise provisions. These ensure that before a new regulation is added, it has to pass a cost-benefit analysis, proving that it actually does more good than harm. Number 3, mandatory reviews. Every few years, existing rules should be re-examined, and if they're outdated, cut. 4, stronger citizen oversight. In some states, regular people can challenge bad regulations in court, so they're not just at the mercy of bureaucrats. Right now, Georgia has none of these. And here's where Georgia is really falling behind. A 2024 report from the Cicero Institute ranked states on their regulatory reforms. Georgia ranked dead last, along with New Mexico and Pennsylvania. That's a huge problem if Georgia wants to keep its reputation as the best place to do business. So, what can Georgia do? First, the state can make it a goal to cut unnecessary regulations by at least 20% in 1 year. Second, it can pass the Red Tape Rollback Act, so that every new regulation gets a proper review. Next, the state should require all new regulations to have expiration dates unless renewed. Finally, Georgia should make sure that small businesses have a voice and can challenge particular regulations. Again, this isn't about getting rid of all regulations. It's about making sure that the right ones stay and the wrong ones go. Because right now, Georgia isn't just regulating business, it's suffocating it. So let's cut the red tape and give Georgians the freedom to work, innovate, and succeed.